what it was really like to live on the Oregon Trail. Night settles softly as we drift back to a long road made of dust and quiet hope. Life on the Oregon Trail moved at the pace of a walking wagon. Days began with pale light and the sound of wheels turning slowly. People rose, packed gently, and followed the horizon. Meals were simple and warm when they could be. Evenings came early, bringing rest beside a small fire. Stories were shared in low voices. The road felt wide, and the sky felt close. Travel was steady and patient, shaped by weather and daylight. Hands learned small tasks repeated with care. Water was gathered, clothes were mended, and animals were tended calmly. There was time to notice grass bending in the breeze. Rivers passed like long breaths. Crossings were slow, careful, and quiet. At night, the land rested under stars. Sleep came wrapped in blankets and listening. The trail did not rush anyone. It simply continued. Living there meant accepting each day as it arrived. Plans were light, and patience was heavy. People trusted the morning, then the afternoon. Thoughts softened with the rhythm of hooves and wheels. The world felt quieter, slower, and kind in its own way. As the fire dimmed, worries thinned. Breathing matched the dark. The road faded into memory. Only the calm remained. Silence held everything gently. The journey continued with mornings that felt cool and unhurried. Light crept slowly across the land. Wagons moved again, guided by calm hands. There was comfort in repetition. Step by step, mile by mile, the trail unfolded quietly, without asking anything more than patience. People learned to listen to the land, to pause when needed, to move when ready. The day passed like a long, gentle breath. Homes were temporary and light. Canvas roofs, wooden wheels, small spaces filled with care. Belongings were simple and familiar. Every object had a place and a purpose. When the wagons stopped, stillness settled in. The wind brushed the grass. Birds called softly in the distance. Cooking was slow and careful. Warm food brought quiet relief. Night arrived without hurry, covering everything in calm shadow. Over time, thoughts became softer. The mind followed the steady motion of travel. Worries lost their sharp edges. Hope felt quiet, not loud. People rested in the knowing that tomorrow would come as today had. With movement, with pause, with calm. As darkness deepened, the land grew silent again. Fires dimmed, voices faded. Breath slowed, the trail rested, and peace lingered, unspoken, in the gentle dark. As days blended together, the trail became familiar and soft. The land no longer felt unknown. Hills rose gently, then settled away. Valleys opened wide and quiet. The wagons followed without question. People woke, walked, rested, and slept. The pattern brought comfort. There was ease in knowing what came next. The body learned the rhythm. The mind followed slowly without effort. Small moments carried the weight of the day. A shared cup of water, a quiet smile, the sound of leather and wood moving together. Weather passed without drama. Sun warmed faces. Clouds drifted on. Rain arrived, then left. Each change was met with calm acceptance. Nothing hurried the journey. Even time seemed to stretch and soften along the road. When night returned, it felt familiar and kind. Blankets were drawn close. The ground cooled gently beneath resting bodies. Stars watched silently above. Thoughts slowed until they barely formed. Breathing deepened. Muscles released their hold. The long road faded into darkness. Only the steady hush of the land remained. Everything settled. Everything rested. The quiet held on, slowly, peacefully, until nothing else was needed. The trail stretched onward, calm and patient. Morning arrived without sound. Light touched the earth softly. Wagons waited, still and quiet. People moved gently through familiar motions. Hands worked without hurry. Feet found their place on the ground. The road felt steady beneath them. There was comfort in how little changed. Each mile passed like a slow thought drifting by. Days were shaped by simple needs. Water, rest, warmth, nothing more. The land offered its quiet presence. Tall grass whispered in the breeze. Distant hills watched without judgment. Even long hours felt light when taken slowly. Faces grew calm in the open air. Words were fewer now. Silence filled the spaces kindly. Time loosened its grip and flowed without pressure. As evening settled again, the world softened. Fires glowed low and steady. Shadows moved lazily across canvas and wood. The air cooled, smooth and gentle. Bodies eased into rest. Thoughts slowed until they thinned away. The trail became a feeling rather than a place. Breathing matched the night. Darkness wrapped everything evenly. Nothing needed to be held anymore. The quiet stayed. The calm remained, and the moment drifted on, peaceful and whole. The journey felt lighter now, as if the road itself had learned their names. Wheels turned with a familiar sound. Hooves pressed gently into the earth. Morning air rested cool on skin. There was no need to think ahead. Each step belonged only to itself. The land unfolded slowly, offering wide skies and long silence. Movement became calm and natural, like breathing without thought. Daily life flowed in quiet balance. Tasks were done with care, not effort. Water shimmered in still streams. Grass leaned softly as wagons passed. Meals were shared without rush. Hands warmed near small fires. Faces relaxed in the steady rhythm. Even waiting felt peaceful. The trail asked for patience, and patience was freely given. Nothing pressed forward. Nothing pulled back. Everything stayed gently where it was. Night arrived once more, smooth and complete. The sky darkened in layers. Stars appeared without sound. The ground held steady and cool. Blankets rested softly. Breath slowed deep and even. Thoughts drifted like distant lanterns fading one by one. The road no longer needed attention. It existed quietly, somewhere beyond awareness. Only calm remained, only stillness. The moment stretched gently into silence, unbroken, unhurried, and softly held by the dark.